Hey, welcome to Blue Jacket Apiary. It is a balmy 86, 87. I don't know, whatever it is, it's hot out here, and I've got on a ventilated jacket and I'm still hot. But I decided to come out just because it's a little breezy, so I'm hoping that that slight breeze keeps things a little cool while I knock out a quick inspection this weekend. Our flow probably has another week in my area, maybe a week and a half, and then things are pretty much going to stop until fall shows up. So I want to get out here, do a good inspection before the flow ends, and try to figure out where the hives are at, whether I'm going to need to do anything or just let them be bees for the next couple of months. I probably won't come out all that often during July and August, although depending on what I see today, I may. I know June's not even close to over yet, but things seem to happen quickly in beekeeping. Things can change in a few days. So I want to get out here, take a good look, see where I'm at, and see if they need my help. They probably won't. Bees know how to take care of themselves. They don't need anything from me. I just happen to provide them a place to live. So we'll see what things look like. Stay tuned. Well, good news, good news. The Carniolans are killing it. That hive is big, and I mean big with a capital B-I-G. It's bad news. I missed it, completely missed it. Should have listened to myself last weekend and added a super, but I didn't. So they're going to swarm, and I don't have an empty box, so I'm going to let them. I am of the mind that it's not such a bad thing when they do. It's just a part of the circle of life in beekeeping. Hive swarm. If I had an empty box, I'd put it out there someplace, hoping that I'd catch them, or just simulating a swarm, finding a queen, taking a frame or two of bees, putting them in the other box, and letting them do their thing. There's 3 queen cells in there. Every one of them is wet. Every one of them is just about ready to be capped. So it's going to happen probably in the next 24 to 48 hours. It'd be really awesome if I was out here or got to see it happen, and got to watch the bees fly off into their new home or wherever it is they go. It'd be really cool to watch that. I've never seen it happen. I would love to watch it happen, only so I could track them, because if they end up in a particular tree someplace on my property, the odds are that if another hive ever swarms out of my apiary or another one, they'll go back to that same place. And if that's the case, I could just put a new box out there every year and hope to catch a swarm and increase the apiary and never have to buy another nuke or buy a package ever. So, like I said, Carniolans are looking good. Next, I'm going to look at the Russians, and we'll see how they're looking. Stay tuned. Holy cow. Okay, well, I should have listened to myself. I'm telling you, I came out last weekend and I thought I should have added a super to the Russians, and I should have added a super to the Carniolans. The Carniolans were farther along. The Russians, I think I may have caught them before they started building queen cells, because I didn't see any, but they're almost as full as that Carniolan hive. So, oh my goodness, I added another super to the Russians. I don't know what I'm going to get out of it, if I'll get anything out of either super on there. Maybe the rain just messed up the whole flow, and maybe things are going to go longer than I expect. Maybe the rain just delayed things. That's what I'm hoping for, which means if that's the case, I might get a couple of frames of honey this year, which is always good news. We'll see. I don't know. I'm going to just play things by ear, because that's how it works in beekeeping. You can make an educated guess, and then, they get their own ideas and they go their own way. So the next hive on our list is the survivor from last year, my mystery hive. I don't know what it is, because I pulled frames from other hives and they made a queen. So I don't know if they made a queen out of my Russian stock or my Carniolan stock. Don't know. Shout out to my friend Kim from high school. Love you, babe. She wanted me to call it my immigrant hive, so that's what it is. I still got to worry about what I'm going to name the Russians and the Carniolans. My Saskatraz Queen Experiment Fiasco hive is looking pretty good, based on the bees coming and going. But we'll see. Like I said, up next is Immigrant. Stay tuned. All right, well, I pulled about 3 frames of that split from a month ago, and they just look like they're growing and they're doing well. A lot of nectar, a little bit of cap stuff, but a ton of nectar. So I would expect if I go in there on Monday that there is going to be a significant amount of capped honey. There was some brood, not a lot, but some, and that's okay. It could be that the queen has just decided to slow down because maybe they're bringing in less. I mean, that's a common trait with the Russians. Queen tends to slow down when things get, when resources get tight. When there's not much coming in, she slows down, sometimes even stops laying. So it's a possibility. That's what's going on in that mystery split from a month ago. So the hive report, the apiary report for this weekend, the day before Father's Day. Things are going well. I made a couple of mistakes last weekend. Should have added some supers. I may even go out later and add another super on that third Apimaye hive. My mystery hive, immigrant hive, that Kim decided to name it because we just don't know what they are, and that's okay. I sort of like the idea of not knowing. I don't have a queen excluder, which means that if I add a super, there's the possibility that the queen will go up there and start laying, and that's okay. That just means that hive keeps growing. The more eggs she lays, the bigger the hive gets. The more bees can go out and forage, the more honey they can make. It's not uncommon for some beekeepers to run 2 deep brood boxes. I run a single deep brood box, just as a matter of course, not for any particular reason. I've only been in it. This is my 2nd season, so I've always run a single brood box just because. I'm open to the idea of 2. I may just throw that super on there and see what happens. The 2 8-frame boxes, my immigrant hive and the mystery hive on the end, they're doing okay. Considering they were both came out of some really bad beekeeping on my part and some bad decisions made on my part. Like bees do, they're just taking care of themselves and they're doing what bees do. They're building up and they're, the queen's laying and the hive is growing and the colony's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I need to keep an eye on them. Although, given the time frame we're in, if the flow starts to slow down in the next week, the odds of them swarming dramatically lessen because there's just nothing out there. Bees have a way of knowing the seasons and what's going on, and they tend to swarm at the beginning towards the middle of a flow. That way, wherever they go, they can still get some resources to build up the size of the colony, build up the size of the hive, and increase their odds of survival through the next season so they can start that whole cycle over again. If we're near the end, they may not be in that frame of mind. They may not have started the whole notion that we need to swarm, which is what I'm sort of counting on out of my 2 8-frames. My 3 10 frames, the Carniolans are going to swarm. I bet money on it. The Russians, I may have got to them soon enough. My survivor from last year with the Mystery Queen, and who knows, they may have made, I don't know what she did. Doesn't matter. I don't care. The hive that started this whole trip this year was a survivor from last year, and thinking about calling that one Warthog. I know it's not a Navy airplane, but if you know anything about the A-10, man, it's a tough plane. It may not be much to look at, and it's not made to dogfight, but man, I tell you what, for what it does, it is a wicked platform. Not too many that can beat it. So I'm thinking about naming that one Warthog. Shout out to all my flyboy friends in the Air Force. Final note. Hey, all you dads out there, thanks for killing it. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for taking 100 milligrams of Suck It Up and going out every day and doing the very best that you can. We have a lot of weight on our shoulders. A lot is expected of us. I am blessed to have an amazing bride. who supports me in all of my adventures and some of my misadventures. She has decided to take this beekeeping journey with me, although she tends to watch from inside where it's cool. So I'm a bit jealous, but I love her to death. And without her, I don't know. So dads, keep showing up, keep killing it every day, do the very best that you can. Hug your kids at night, hug your wife at night, tell them you love them. To Matthew and Alex, you guys are amazing. It is amazing to watch you grow up. Sarah, if you see this, sweetheart, I love you. And there's no other way to put it. I love you to the moon and back. I have always loved you. I've never stopped loving you. And to my bride, I love you more than I possibly say and more than I show. So thank you. And as always, beekeepers and friends of beekeepers, plant some flowers that are going to bloom in July and August. Help the bees. And be kind.